Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vasundhara, and on behalf of Shine.com, I welcome all of you to Shine HR Live today. Topic for today's discussion is Future of Workplace. The format of the event is our panelists will share inputs on the topic, which will be followed by a Q&A. I would request all the attendees to keep posting questions in Q&A segment, and speakers will answer your questions in some time. Now, I would like to introduce our panelist for today. Our first speaker is Ms. Shikha Gupta, Director of Recruiting, Windwire Technologies. Our second speaker is Ms. Vishnu Priyal, Site HR Head, Aptech CK Birla Group. Mr. Ashish Kakre, HR Leader of HR Shapers, will be moderating today's session. I would again request all the attendees to keep posting questions during the session. Mr. Kakre, over to you, please.
Thank you, Vasundhara. Thank you, Shine.com, Shine HR platform for giving us opportunity. So, future of workplace, we have been talking since last 1 year. Okay, future is no more future. Actually, it's now which is happening. While we are talking, it's happening right now. While we discussed yesterday, it did happen yesterday. So it's actually, now of workforce and all. And great to have, Shikha and Vishnu. Vishnu, right? I can pronounce as a Vishnu or something else.
Absolutely, Ashish. Vishnu would be very fine, no problem.
Right. Yeah. So Vishnu and Shikha, thanks for being there. So we are going to have a nice, engaging conversation, learning from each one of you and all. So if I see, there are three things which are being changed, due to COVID. So workplace, workforce, and work, right? All three being changed. Okay, and HR is supposed to do a lot of different things. Okay, force, when I say in the sense, because all the crises bring opportunity, and the opportunity force you to things, look at the things differently, innovatively, and break the traditional and all. And we have done it, right? There are a lot of traditional, we have broken. We never thought, we will deliver laptop at home. This was never in our agenda, remember, right? Okay, we never thought that video interview will be reality one day. It used to be considered fake before 5-10 years, correct? Yeah. So likewise, there are many things happening and many challenges coming. Then there are people are working remotely, hybrid, then reskill, upskill. Suddenly jump up. L&D became so busy department. CHRO and sorry. Now COR are after CHRO and Chief Learning Officer. Okay, IO budget. Please bring automation, digitalization. So right. So many things happening. I have a lot to share, but I will not, because I want Shikha and Vishnu to contribute to a large in a discussion, and then I will keep coming in between, and then we have anyway 1 hour, so we'll take the question in the end. So format is going to like this: is Shikha and Vishnu will talk about the topic and share their experience, insight for 10 to 15 minutes. Then we'll see how the time goes, and then we'll pick up the question and have a more conversation and all. Yeah, so nothing in any order. Okay. Let me invite Vishnu to start with.
Sure, Ashish. So thank you, and I'm really glad to be a part on this platform. So thank you, Shine, for giving us a forum where we HR guys can connect, see each other, share things that we experience every day in and day out. So thank you. Coming back to the topic, as Ashish rightly set the context around, it's not future anymore. It's present, right? So we are living, and it's happening. It's today. So I would say the way this future of workplace comes into picture, it all started way back last year. If you see, when the lockdown came in, and I believe we HR guys were clueless. I'm sure every one of us sitting here, I could say we're still settling, ironing things out at our own areas, whether it is whatever processes that we have, whatever systems that we have, how are we getting the new guys onboarded, what are the challenges that we are going to do. So I think we have sailed we have sailed through this journey last 1 year. I think most of or most of us have come to an area where we have almost 50%, I would say. I won't say 100% we are settled and stabilized, but yeah, 50% I know what we have to do and how things would be, how recruitment has changed, and we have reimagined all our processes. Recruitment has not stopped. Talent acquisition is still going on. L&D, as rightly said by Ashish, is like booming. The one of the best processes of HR, I must say. The well-being, which was never ever called out, right? It's openly called out as a major organizational agenda, right from CEO till the last person in the organization knows what well-being is, knows what employee care is. I think, and that's making HR becoming a central pace. So we again come back onto the stage. We get a seat again back, saying that yes, now tell me, what do we do? There's a challenge. There's a crisis happening. How do we manage? So I won't touch all industry. I won't talk much about all industry because I'm not an expert in all industries that we talk about, but I'll stick to my industry. I hail from a manufacturing background, right? So you can think about the challenges that we face as HR. So we trying to bring in the hybrid model since last March to help you with some data. Initially, when the lockdown was there for 1 month, I think our team capitalized completely on L&D. We ran quizzes, we ran engagement programs. Yoga was on our radar first, right? Ensuring our CEO joins the yoga campaign. We partnered with Cult Fit and ensured that each and every employee signs it up. And, all this part was very, very possible. And we were the most enthusiastic team during the lockdown, I would say. So once the lockdown started, once we got the workplace started opening up, and now we talk about an area where we say that manufacturing has never seen work from home. But today, in current scenario, my 30% of the population is sitting at home, right? And kind of delivering the business results. My IT team is at home. My finance team is at home. My SCM, the complete supply chain management, is at home. So the complete production team is still, they are the guys who are there in the plant trying to manage things out. So look at what COVID has done. So I would say on the positive front, we didn't know that these things were possible, but today it is there in front of our eyes. Now, taking this to the next level, let's say what happens after 3 years down the line, when manufacturing can go such a change, it just has turned around. And, our IT team has worked day in and day out to ensure that every person working from home has its infrastructure. Get the desktop shifted. You have one day turnaround time, right? Get desktops to the to homes of our employees. So with speed, with agility, I think everything was possible. So it's all there in our minds, I must say. So the future it's very, very I see. And to be frank with you, being in manufacturing, our business leaders, they keep asking, why not we continue this model? Vishnu, let's not, try to rush and then open up for all the population. Let's go slow. Let's analyze and let's kind of only let's start mapping each and every employee who is required in the workplace. So till date, we are having a flexi model, right? You can read it up everywhere in the web links, etc. So hybrid and flexi is going to be the future of workplace, but it is happening. It is there. It's just going on. So I would say, flexi is going to be there. The hybrid model is going to be there. Wherever we are going to work from home, we will be there. And yes, on the culture part, I must comment. Now HRs are faced with a different set of challenges. I won't say the challenges pre-COVID that we had is the same challenge that we have today. So it's about how do we engage with people? When we have physical connection, when we see people a person to person, then we kind of exchange a lot of things. We connect with them personally. Many of our colleagues know about our internal areas. We talk really personal. okay, what our kids do, what my spouses are doing, and this is my investment, this is where I want to venture into. I think this is the gray area, I would say, going forward, we as HR will have, because that piece of culture is something, it's still a gray area where we are still trying to figure out. But otherwise, I must say, the future of workplace in our country is very clear, and we HRs have a clear path on where we want to walk, how we want to walk. The culture building piece that we are trying to drive, the L&D piece that we are trying to drive, the recruitment, it's onboarding at a CEO level happens virtually. That's like unbelievable. It never ever have happened in our, I'm sure, in all of our careers. So leadership positions are getting filled up, not requiring a lot of things. BGV checks, background checks are happening on track, right? So I believe things have all got digitalized, and we all need to become more technological oriented, guys. And also there is a fear of the future of workplace also will demand new set of skill set, guys. So I think that is what we need to focus on. How do we get those new skill set? How do we get those competency in place? I think we all will have to put our focus in trying to figure out what is it. Many of the jobs will get switched off. We may have to switch a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs will become redundant. At the same time, how our managers and leaders are going to behave? How are they going to take this change up? How are they going to lead this whole thing up? So we have in our plans, we have captains, we have vice captains who whom we term that as, you're the captain of the ship. Now there is a change, there is a crisis, how you want to lead it, right? So it's the only path forward, as in guidelines that we give, is it is only empathy. Empathy is the way forward, and empathetic leadership is the way forward, and being resilient in that whole process makes our organization a tight ship to run at the same time. So these are 2 cents from my side, Ashish. I'm sure we will kind of connect back on the questions, etc. Yeah.
Thank you, Vishnu. So that was really wonderful opening remark. And yes, so a lot of disruption is actually work has taken place. It reminds me of the story that the share aaya, and when actually share aaya, we don't know what to do with that, right? And when it started, Vishnu and Shikha, that I think almost 90% HR people were looking for work from home policy, and the 10% who has a work from home policy, they don't know how to implement. Yeah. So it's not only HR, but entire leadership, entire organization, even social system. Now forget the social system. Even government were not ready to deal with this. So I would call it, this is the one of the largest global transformation project taken place in the world, right? And we are all aligned. If work from home is happening, virtual, hybrid is happening, it's happening in every country. Almost, 70% people doing the same work, what is happening in one country. They have similar thought process, similar ideas. Like we are all busy with vaccination drive today, right? This will go for almost a month. One of the biggest tasks of HR today, right? And the leadership, correct? To ensure our workplace is safe and workforce is safe. Okay. So Shikha, over to you. Would like to hear from you.
Yeah, first of all, thanks Shine Platform for having all of us here, connect, share thoughts, and I'm sure our listeners are benefiting out of it. My friend Vishnu has said a lot, so I won't go into those details. But as far as I remember, Ashish, work from home is something we always wanted, right? Today I want to work from home because there is some exigency, or today I want to work from home because there is some medical emergency or some plumbing work that needs to happen, some carpentry that's going on. Now I think after 15, 16, 17 months, all of us are just so tired of work from home. Yes, and it is a paradigm shift. It is a transformation. I could not imagine that a function like recruitment can actually operate from home. right? We are still, like she said, we are still hiring, we are still delivering on our targets. Everything is happening from home. I think necessity is the mother of invention, right? Any HR function, comp and ben, L&D, business HR, I mean, recruitment, you name it and you have it. All of us are flawlessly operating from home, right? Trying to deliver to our best of our abilities, to the best of our employee satisfaction, because every year there is an ESAT survey that goes out, which actually gives HR a score, as to where you stand. So that's equally important. But what I want to say over here is, uh, I think workplace to me, if I have to define it, I would put it in certain boxes. One is my emotional workplace, where I have a connect with the organization, my well-being, my culture aspect, employee engagement, my bonding, my sense of belonging. So that is my emotional workplace for me with my organization. The second box, I would probably say, what is my physical workspace, whether it is the office or whether it is home or whether it is some other public place, right? So what is my physical workspace going to look like, right? Today it's a hybrid model. Some of us are at home, some of us are at work, and that is to continue. If I have to again define workplace, what is my technology workplace? How technology has enabled all of us to connect across geographies, across functions, across our customers. And I would touch upon that aspect towards the end. How technology has been an enabler, right? For us to successfully, like she said, she's from the manufacturing sector, right? I mean, technology must have done wonders for us. So for me, I'm from the IT background. And I think the last piece is purposeful workspace or value driven workplace, where your leadership is giving you the right guidance, the right set of values, the right communication, so that employees who belong to a particular organization stay. Your HR is not pained as much as by attrition, because they don't see employee engagement happening in person, right? Like we mentioned. I think, in my view, leadership plays a very, very critical role, because they are the ones who are driving the organization in a certain fashion, right? What will be the trajectory in terms of employee growth, customer growth, revenue growth, and so on and so forth? That directly comes from the leadership. And HR and leadership work in tandem. That's a hand in hand relationship, right? The two challenges I still feel are that I think new joiner assimilation in any organization, because they haven't seen your workspace, they haven't seen your culture, they don't have a feel of the organization. Interviews happen virtually, onboarding happens virtually, buddies are signed virtually, managers are assigned virtually. I think that will still continue to be a challenge, because the sense of belonging with this person who's hired and who joins through a complete virtual process is seen to be slightly lesser than an existing employee, right? An existing employee is more bonded. So I think new joiner assimilation is still going to be a challenge if we completely work from home. But if we do a blended model, I think that should solve the problem. Second, like Vishnu highlighted, employee engagement. When you connect, bond, meet, there is so much that an employee talks to the HR. The early warning system, I think for me, my early warning system worked the best when I was at work, because somebody would walk up and say, Shikha, this is not working. Fine, can we talk? And I have some second thoughts and stuff like that. But now, since everybody is operating from home, you don't know how happy people are, and all the engagement is happening online, right? Through Zoom calls, we do birthday parties, we do virtual celebrations and stuff like that. I think, yeah, employee engagement still best model to do or best way to do is in person. But yeah, given a choice, I mean, yeah, if we don't have a choice, we'll have to do it online. So I think these are the two things that in my mind still needs a lot of work. Everything else, I think HR has been able to manage successfully. Not that we're not able to manage this piece, we are, but maybe a little more work required for new joiners to imbibe well in the system. for the employees, for existing employees to stay connected, stay bonded to the organization, so that solves attrition. Yeah, I think these two will be my two areas where I would really want to focus if we continue the way we are continuing. Right, yeah. And yeah, one more thing, empathy, resilience. I think it's not only all of us that are showing that, it's not only HR, it's not only our employees, it's our customers as well. All the clients that we cater to, trust me, believe you, as in, if we miss a deadline by a couple of hours or a couple of minutes or a couple of days, today the customer is very empathetic. I understand people are not available, people are suffering. We are partnering with you. We are with you. We are one organization. We have such lovely messages from our customers to say, guys, we know the situation in India is very bad. People are suffering. They are looking at data on the internet. The number of cases were rising and stuff like that. We are with you. Don't worry. I think, yeah, the customers have been very, very empathetic, and the organizations have risen up to the occasion to say, yes, we are one and we shall deliver it together. So yeah, that'll be my take on the subject.
Yeah. Thanks, Shikha. The last point, empathy is empathy. I mean, today we actually mean to say and listen that how are you doing? What are you doing? It has a meaning. It is a meaning to understand. It is a meaning to listen actually and respond. Okay, like in the flight, the air hostess say good morning, good evening, bye bye, take care. So that actually changed entirely. Right, today we actually mean to ask you how are you doing, what are you doing. Work may come later, but these are the things. And great, yeah. So employee engagement is another part. Employee engagement converted into experience. That's a big transition. HR has done it, and so that getting all the department together and all. Shika, you started with no more work from home. Yes, many are feeling okay like this, and believe me, if survey is done, so there are two community who will definitely say that they want to come back to the office. One is the student community because they are missing a campus in a big way. You can imagine the kind of excitement they have it, right? And obviously they are the future of leader, right? And they look for all this excitement and all. And the second community, which is the women community, yeah. Some or other way, social life is being changed like anything, right? It is adding more of responsibility. It's all depend upon your entire work model at home. How much ecosystem is supporting you, and I posted one link on the LinkedIn. So very good response came from one female colleague, HR colleague, that fine, you can start all this offices and all, but the the child care business not started. So in case, I have family, I have kid, and I used to, put it in a child care, and if that not started, so it will not work. So employer has to think all this option actually, So maybe follow-up question to some of you and both of you. How do you see, this reskill and upskill? Yeah, because suddenly it is boomed up like anything. And I don't know whether business is being changed or whether employee were not up to the mark in terms of risk, in terms of skill, so that what it is brought according to you and how this should be really fixed up. We will take the question then after 10-15 minutes. After anything you like to add besides the reskill, upskill?
Yeah, sure. Should I take that up? Okay. Whether it is COVID or not COVID, and in my career span across 2-3 organizations, reskilling and upskilling has always been there, Ashish, no matter which organization I have worked with. And as talent acquisition or as HR folks, when we hire talent, we always look at the fact that how fungible the person is, right? Is it a single technology expert or a multi-technology expert, a single skill set expert or a multi-skill set expert? So that if there is there are projects which end, or there are short duration projects, or projects end before time, or you can move the person across different roles, different streams, different projects. One is how multi-skilled or multi-talented is. Secondly, if the person is not at the hiring stage, we do evaluate what is the learning capability or the learning attitude. So today I am not an expert in this area, but tomorrow if there is a need and it kind of matches my existing technology skill set, will I be willing to take up a course or learn or do something? So I think upskilling and reskilling both have always been there. It's just that because of COVID, it has picked up rigor, right? The business dynamics have changed, right? Maybe the customers are expecting a little more, right? So that's what the organizations are doing. And even individuals, I think the willingness to learn or to do more certifications or to upskill, I think that has fairly gone high. Not sure really why, because everybody has a personal agenda as to what he or she wants to achieve in life. But then, yes, the willingness to try out different things, the willingness to learn different things, explore different things, maybe because of work from home, people are benefiting on the commute time. There's no traffic, there is no travel. So you're saving a little time. Maybe that little time is invested in learning and development, or upskilling or something of that sort. But yes, it's considerably gone high in the last about a year or so.
And in HR used to have a KRA of 40 hours training per employee, right?
Correct.
I think
No LLP department is suffering today. Everybody's doing
Yeah.
40 hours.
It may be 100%. It may be maybe I think more than 60 hours now.
Depends.
Yeah, easily. Then HR need to have a KRA of 100 hours in coming time. Great, Vishnu. What's your views?
Yeah, so on reskilling and upskilling piece, my 2 cents, I would put it this way. So this, when we try to move, that is when this whole agenda comes into picture, that when we try to hire a person, or let's say, let me put myself into a job seeker's shoes here. If let's say I come with 10 years of experience and I try to get to the next level. So one way is to get myself promoted in my current organization. The second way is, okay, go somewhere where I think I match where I belong. So that's where the competency comes in, right? So, and every organization hires for competency. Competency is, instead of running behind, I believe, compensation, we must all run behind competency. We must all acquire those competency. As in the movie also they say, Three Idiots, they talk about excellence ki piche vago. Don't run behind this. So I would say, if you have competency, rest of the things all will fall in place. And competency keeps changing, guys. It is not stagnant. It is not fixed. So today, the competencies, the soft competencies that we are talking about is collaboration, communication, right? So how do we become a tech-operated remote workforce? These are all skill sets. And how are we adapting? How are we changing? How are we being flexible in kind of taking up these roles? And whether it is any organization that you go forward for, I think these are the areas people would want to know and love to know. Let's say a crisis comes into your project, and how did you come out of it? To be frank with you, that's how HR starts questioning. That you tell me a time where you were faced with a difficult situation, and how did you come out of it? And what methodology did you use? And we normally look for those competencies where we can think that, no, this person has the fire in the belly. I think those are the skill set which we still kind of hunt for. We look for. So I think it's reskilling. It's not just on the technical area that you, or the domain expertise that you carry, because I believe when you have committed yourself to your profession, you are going to be upskilled as you move along. There is no way that you are not going to be upskilled. You will be updated every day. At the same time, my suggestions to all the guys is, please start upskilling your softer part as well, your characteristics as well, your personality as well. right? So managing crisis, how do you challenge your status quo today? How do you take your skill level from 5 to 10? What are the 10 things that you need to do in 2021? I think beginning of the year, we all have this habit of writing down what we need to achieve. So I think on the skill side, competency side, okay, these are the skills that I'm lacking on, be it data analysis, right? So be it critical thinking, be it crisis management. So I think we all need to develop ourselves as a whole human being as well as a professional, which every company will hunt. Just trust me, guys, every company will be behind you if you are a full package, rather than companies will not want to hire a 50% package. So let's all be full when it comes to a skilling part, which is the future of our work going forward. That's it from my side.
Yeah, because it's a leadership agenda, every time. Okay, because see, business model being changed, employer changing their, product terminology, because they either want to get into some other sector, emerging sector, and some business, they really want to take it as a big opportunity, right? So we need to ensure our workforce is ready. Great. And virtually, Vishnu, you talk about the virtual thing that we need to learn how to, virtually we understand everything. So there are a lot of questions we talk about as a HR gyan, emotional, social, and all. I would call it, digital quotient is taking up like anything. We need to know how to digitally learn, teach, understand, be patient, and all. So that is also one of the skills, Great, we have questions coming now. So Vishnu, while all this is fine, work from home is very comfortable and luxury thing, but for manufacturing sector, this is no more, right? They still need to get on the road. They still need to get on the office and do the work. And one of the, I don't remember the company, but they have defined the HR as an essential task and non-essential. Within HR, they define it as a essential, non-essential. The way government is defined. So essential people, essential task department people should be there in the office. Non-essential can work from anywhere. So very clearly defined this. Likewise, in the manufacturing also it must have been defined like this. So question is very relevant, Vishnu. You can read it also. This is coming from Bala. Can you highlight top line and bottom line between at least 3 different past and present quarter compared to pre-COVID 100% physically presence versus partially work from home, especially for manufacturing sector? So
yeah, sure. That's a beautiful question, Bala. I must give credit to you because you've given me a food for thought as we kind of take this question. Let me tell you, essential HR and non-essential HR. Ultimately, HR is this one function which we are trying to deliver multiple wings or processes. I would say the essential part of HR is something which we take care of the welfare or the well-being of the employees. As rightly, as I also previously also have mentioned, that our production guys are still there in the plant making our parts, right, for our customers. Our customer demand has not gone down. So our sales is happening every month on time. Our supply chain teams are working from home, but ensuring the material reaches here in the plant on time. Whether it is all sort of areas like Bombay is locked down, we have materials coming in from all over India. Some of the materials are coming in internationally as well. So the planning part of the whole game has upped the level. I must say that has helped us deliver the bottom line, to keep our bottom line safe. To be frank with you, just to give you a few figures, we have not missed our sales revenue. Our FY21, the last quarter revenue was touching sky, right? So we have ensured that the bottom line impact is not there, and we have made more than our budget. And we have ensured that this whole process, this whole cycle kind of works and it doesn't stop. right? So let me tell you the HR angle here. Essential part of HR is someone who manages safety in the plant, who manages, the approvals part of it. We define who is required, who is not required to run the plant. Okay, supply chain, need not come to the plant, but marketing, you will come only in the last week to make the sale happen, right? So we define who has to come, who has not to come. But yes, ultimately, if you ask me, the challenges that we have gone through last year was tremendous, because considering the lockdown across the country, the blue collar workforce kind of moved out, and it was like a complete shred out, to be frank with you. And we had to unite everything. It took 2 months for us to get back the workforce, especially in the blue collar area, to kind of kickstart our business. So last April, May was dull, but we ensured that from June onwards, we have the workforce. We have got bench strength to kind of manage our sales, etc. So I would say it was an interesting journey to be to kind of contribute really to the business. So business leaders, they call me, okay, now we have so many positive cases in the plant. What do we do? Right. So what is the next step? That is like, okay, HR there becomes a fulcrum there, and we take decision. Right. So we kind of put a thing, okay, shut the line down. It's not production head who shuts the line down, or it is not SCM head who takes decisions there. Shut the line, right? Shut that complete line and get that thing deep sanitized. And that particular line will not work for next 3 days. I think that level of empowerment helped us kind of survive in this journey without touching our sales. I would put it that way. So I have taken a lot of decisions in the last 1 year, which some are right, some are not right. But what I must say is, yes, at that point in time, certain decisions had to be taken. So we in HR did not fall back on it. So we ensured that we kind of, we lead the show there.
Yeah. Thanks, Vishnu. You brought up the point of that what's happening in the plant and all. If somebody found positive and all this, so it remind me that some or many people used to say, okay, HR has to be doctor first. And I think today we know much more than the normal person is like, okay, what is good for human being in terms of taking care of them and XYZ, right? So we are actually becoming a doctor of human, right? Great. So thanks Vishnu for taking up that question, Shikas. I take liberty to assign you this question, which is coming from Gaurav. Gaurav asking, is the workplace start bringing employee back? Which you two looking for, as you said in the beginning, that no more work from home and all to some extent, right? How HR are preparing to handle potential third wave? What health measures should put it in the place, right? So it's caution, okay, and it's a reality as well, right? Okay, that third wave will come, and we don't know how to handle and all. We got some learning from second. So over to you. You can read the question in the Q&A section also.
Sure. I don't think so. It will be a crisis moment for HR to deal with the third wave. Now that we are 16, 17 months down, or maybe 18 months down with Corona, I think we know how to deal with it. That's not, I think, okay, let me rephrase this. The biggest solace that we have today is that the vaccinations are in place, right? The population is getting vaccinated. Some percentage has gone through the first dose, whilst the others have finished both the doses, right? So the vaccination is in place. Over the last 16, 17 months, we have learned how to live with Corona, right? So our personal hygiene, social distancing, and all those factors we've already taken care of. It's not going to be something new to us. I think what we should continue doing as citizens of the country, we should continue to follow a certain discipline, right? We still have to maintain that social distancing. We still have to take whatever, wash your hands, wear your mask. If you're going out on emergency, carry your hand sanitizer. I think all that has to continue for Corona to finally get eradicated or leave the country. Now, the third wave, yes, can be deadlier than what it is, but in my mind, the country or the organizations are now ready to face it. They probably know what measures they can take. And with this blended model, and that is why most of us are not thinking of getting back to work before next January. Maximum organizations have announced that only January 2022 is when we come back to work. So we continue to work, either completely work from home, some of these sectors, or do a combination of work from home or 20%, 10% work from office. Maybe what will change is companies which have this 10, 20% working from the office, if God forbid we are hit by the third wave, everybody will completely move to work from home. We will be back to that situation. But in my mind, dealing with the third wave is not a challenge anymore because we've gone through this in the last so many months. So we know how to operate, we know what are the precautionary measures we have to take. I hope that answers.
Yeah, yeah. And Shika, I would say, this third wave has nothing to do with only corporate. Please understand. Okay. Third wave may come while we are at home, while we are in the society, while we are on the road. And if you don't follow COVID appropriate behavior, it may take place anywhere. Okay. Please don't blame the corporate community only that third wave is happening because workforce has started working.
And that's why I mentioned that following a certain discipline is very important. If we as a country do not discipline ourselves, look at certain other geographies, Ashish. Why have the numbers come down so drastically? Because they have followed a certain discipline, they have followed certain guidelines, they have taken the right set of precautions. We as a country, I mean, yes, population is a problem that we have, but then we as a country need to follow certain discipline to protect ourselves. If we don't help ourselves, nobody else will be able to help us. Right? Even in the second wave, there were a lot of cases that I heard of. The person has not kind of gone out of the house for the last 6 months, but has still got infected. So, not sure how, right? There's only so much that you can predict with the virus, with the pandemic.
Yeah. So third wave may happen, while you are at home. But if you don't follow the COVID appropriate behavior, it may happen, it may start from home even. And corporate is doing a lot of things. Additionally, look at, how much corporate is investing for a vaccination drive, employee plus family. This is the huge first dose plus second dose, right? So these are the things we need to take care, and please understand everybody, virus is going to be there at least forever. What we need to deal with, okay, save ourselves by taking a vaccination and follow the appropriate behavior. Okay, last 13 minutes. Yeah.
From my side, without naming any organization, right? There are organizations who've gone all the way to, to sponsoring oximeters, to covering the vaccination cost, to, using assistants like MediBuddy for counseling services, right? And to also incur hospitalization expenses for certain employees. All that capital that is being used to do damage control, right? If we follow a COVID behavior, or if we follow discipline, all that capital can be used for employee welfare rather than, doing damage control and trying to manage crisis. So yeah, that is what we have to understand.
Yeah, so at the same time, we should not be too much excited, even other than the walking, get on the road and do everything, right? So Vishnu, one question coming, with work from home, are we getting right result from employee? Both of you can answer this in a short. We'll take one more question after this. With work from home, are we getting right result from employee? This is coming from Ananya Banik.
Hi, Ananya. So I would say, why you have this doubt, first of all. So it is, I would say, yes, it depends, right? And I would not say a production guy sitting doing work from home will get me what I want. So of course, no. So your question, I would read it in this way. whether my partially working from home functions are working up to the productivity. See, somewhere I would say yes, because as I told you, our bottom line is intact. Our sale is happening month on month, which means guys sitting at home are working properly. That is the reason. That is the reason this chain is all moving rightly. So even if one function, be it a small function, be it even if it is an IT function who is not working, I don't think we can actually deliver to the business results, and we will not be able to survive as a company if we are not showing productivity. So I would say yes, shortly.
As far as I am concerned, Ananya, my answer is yes. The business is growing, the customers are happy, the employees are doing their bit. Uh, but all I want to say is the managers, right? People managers, project managers, engagement managers, any manager, I think they're investing more time with their teams to ensure the business is running in a proper fashion. They're delivering results and stuff like that. But the answer is yes.
Yeah, thanks for taking that question. Okay, I take this question from, okay, name is not there. Okay, but I think we have partially covered. Let me read out. So as we have mentioned, all the hiring, including leadership position happening virtually. Yeah. So what do we think? Any industry will prefer continue virtually, okay, or will industry adopt the blended model? Any additional input?
Yeah, I think when we are comfortable hiring leadership positions virtually, I think it's all about, as rightly Shikha pointed out, it's not about hiring, which is a challenge. It's about assimilating, right? It's about actually letting the person assimilate into our culture. What our company is made up of, what are our values, what do we want to drive. I think that is the challenge, but recruitment can, of course, go virtually, and it is very, very helpful. Basically, our metrics are very well defined. I don't think so. We need, we can continue this virtually.
Yeah. Uh, Thanks, Vishnu. Same, exactly the same thought. Attract, retain, and grow. I think attract and grow is not a problem. Assimilation and retaining is the problem. Maybe to a certain extent, maybe to fix that, the companies will continue to do a blended model. So we can hire virtually, but we can engage in office. Maybe that kind of a stuff which will, like you rightly said, give a feel of the culture, the value system, all of that. And the new joiner assimilates well, feels, a sense of belonging, feels connected, right? And is ready to give you the next 2, 3, 4 years of his life, right? That commitment has to come. And that will only come when, we as HR folks, leadership, managers, help the new joiner in assimilating well. Yeah.
This virtually and blended model has opened up the door for the gig model actually, right? Okay, in India it's still yet to catch up, but it's already happening while we are talking in the European country, USA country, Southeast Asia. It has picked up like anything. All the CHRO, they are going to drawing board and see, okay, do I really need full-time employee? If guy sitting in Germany can do my work of the Singapore, let's do that with the same cost for a shorter assignment. I don't need to have it. I don't need to take many other things as well, right? So this is opening up a lot of opportunity for many people. It's one side of workforce for employer as well. There is a challenge for HR to have a different kind of coming. Okay, I take another question now. This is something different. Arjun Singh is asking, and it's practical question. My operator salary is 35,000, and after getting overtime, they reach more than 40. How can I control? I have seen this may be applicable where overtime is happening. Uh, just touch upon few insight. How somebody can control the cost.
Okay, Arjun, I think a lot of manufacturing crowd is what I see in this. So good guys. And Arjun, see, to be answering you a little customized way. In COVID two, like wave two, where we tried to get our workforce to the plant. The moment the government announced lockdown, right, everyone flew away. It's like, and next day we are again faced with challenge. Okay, Vishnu, what happens to the manpower? My plant is stopping, or my line is stopping. What are you going to do? So, Arjun, this is a phase which you will have to take a hit. I would keep it very, very practical here, wherein you engage an operator for not 8 hours, you're making him extend, you're making him work for 12 hours in some areas where your customer consignments has to go, you have a deadline to follow, you have a monthly targets to meet. So please, let's not worry on the cost at this point in time. I think this time is to be little human, right? Normally, even in our area, when an operator gets impacted, we had to clean up the whole line. So I had to kind of make all the 5 guys not to come, make them quarantine at home, look out for symptoms, etc. So our management or we as HR are not worried about productivity. At this point in juncture, I think we need to be a little more human, considerate on anyone can get COVID, right? It's not about the age, it's not about the physical condition or the medical condition that you undergo. So everyone's life is important. So only then the guys will trust you. I think this is a time to build that credibility, build that trust in the system, and then they will start working for the company and your cost will go down. So don't worry about cost at this point in time, Arjun.
Maybe there is some, dipstick has to be done. Okay, why overtime is taking place? If it is really actually taking place, means business is coming. Okay, and if it is during the normal hours, if no work is happening, you change the timing, right? If it is 9 to 6, look at the flow of the business is coming. 9 to 12, no business is coming, you change the timing, 12 to 10. But as Vishnu said, take care of the people that, they should not be working beyond particular time because they have also social life. Okay, you can perhaps recruit like, the people, different people like gig model, recruit somebody who can just work for 3 hours, 6 hours, right? So there are various model can be adopted. Shikha, I give you this question coming from Bala. Will automation become a solution for optimizing manpower? Means how many jobs being replaced with the digitalization, automation and all. Again, Vishnu, it is related to manufacturing sector. Question is being targeted. So number of people in the plant are less as part of the COVID situation. Means how much impact automation, digitalization is actually having in the manufacturing sector. Do you see job losses more? Do you see job creation more because of this?
I don't think. See, guys, we are talking about manufacturing 4 coming, industry 4 coming in, but you and me know when we soil our hands and legs every day when we go to the plant, right? So in India, we are still far away when it comes to automation coming in and taking up jobs. So I think every HR leader is trying to answer this every session that I've heard of. And we're talking about this for the last 10 years. So far, I don't think there's a worry or a reason or a concern that we need to talk about it. I would say we are still hiring, and the recruitment is always on. I always try to maintain a bench strength in plant. So I won't say automation has taken down jobs or number of people in plant have reduced. I would say no. The moment business comes in, we say so many missions are required. Okay, yes, then we need so many people to operate, so many people to supervise, so many people to manage. So I think this, in manufacturing, it's a long way to go. So I'm sure in IT, Shikha can add, but in manufacturing, I don't see automation taking over our jobs as such.
Bala, even in IT, right? The objective of automation is not to optimize manpower. I don't think so. I completely disagree with that. Even if you have to do that, we just spoke about upskilling and reskilling, right? If you think a segment of population is not needed to do that particular job, what do great places to work do? Great places to work, organizations which qualify or which are people friendly, culture friendly, right? They upskill, reskill their employees rather than just firing people or laying off and causing so much of unrest in the organization, which is definitely not healthy for any organization, right? Yes, automation is good, but if it means job losses for 5, 10, 15 people, I'm sure they can be upskilled, reskilled, and utilized anywhere across the organization, right? That is what a great place to work will do, or a great organization will do, rather than saying, okay, thank you and goodbye. No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And if somebody just look at right now, go to Google and find out within 1 minute what's happening. You know how many apps being downloaded. Okay, so I'm directly related how many apps being downloaded. So you really think who are working to develop those apps? We need so many apps today to integrate many things. Okay, and directly World Economic Forum data says, as far as future of work is concerned, 80 million job will be replaced with the digitalization and automation. At the same time, it is said that more than 130 million job will be created. Yeah, it reminds me of the one photo which is always there on the Google. One person taking photographs in the helicopter, and below there is a drone, right? So drone has taken job of 2-3 people, but there is a drone company which has emerged like anything. There are people working in drone company. So are you part of that movement? How do you reskill, upskill, think through is, so those are the things. Directly a dot on the time. Closing remark from Vishnu and Shikha. Then I can hand over to Subhasundra.
In my mind, Corona is not going to leave us, at least for the next 6 months. People are expecting the third wave. I think the key is to adjust, to adapt, to adopt to our current situation, home, life, office, and not to lose heart, not to give up, not to lose hope, right? Yeah, that would be my message. We have to keep going. The show must go on, no matter what segment of your life it is. The show must go on. And to what Ashish just said, right, it is very important to stay relevant in the market. RELEVANT. Very important to stay relevant in the market, whether through reskilling or upskilling or trying something completely different before you are found redundant, right? That is the key to success. So you have to stay relevant in the market, and continue to fight with Corona, maintain a certain discipline, right? And we'll all sail through this. Yep. That would be it from my side.
Yeah, beautiful comments from Shekha. So 2 cents from my side on, I'm sure we have now, we all have habituated, we have gone through wave 1, wave 2, now wave 3 is coming. And I don't think so, a big tsunami is coming to us. So I think we know what to do, right? So we really know, okay, even kids are now accustomed to, okay, you know what, okay, I need to go for a walk, okay, let me get my sanitizer bottle in one hand and have a mask in another one. So our kids are teaching us in our day-to-day life on how do we kind of move forward. So I think, guys, we are all sailing through. I think human beings are the best set of guys who can adapt and be flexible. And we are the best change agents that we can take it forward. So I'm sure all of us who are sitting, listening, going through this whole thing, when I talk to my granny, they talk about the pandemic that happened those days. And I'm sure some of us, going to live those years are going to talk about stories on how Corona was and how it impacted our life. And that pushed me, that kind of gave me energy, pushed me to do things which I never did. Right? So our parents are talking about apps. My granny is not living without YouTube. So she's so addicted to it. So, so Corona has given us so many good things. So I think it's a part of change, guys. Let's be flexible, adaptable, and take the phase forward, or move our life forward in a great way. And I'm sure this is going to be a memory which will be preserved, and there will be a lot of stories that we can talk about later. So these are 2 things from my side.
Wonderfully said, Vishnu. And all of us, after 50, 60 years, will become a chapter in the history. Saying that 2019 to 2021, history, it was Corona time when all these people.
Absolutely. A lot of stories to talk about. Lots and lots of stories to talk about. So we are a part of, we are experiencing, we are seeing a great thing, guys. So I think we should embrace it and at the same time sail through it. And that's all in our hands and we know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Vishnu and Shika. So, Vishnu, you said the YouTube, it reminded me of, movie getting released on OTT platform. We never thought about it, right?
True.
Today, all the sports, forget the Euro, but many sports happening in a stadium without audience. Okay. So you can imagine the player has to develop the thought process. There is no audience, but still I need to play with all the enthusiasm and all. So guys, everyone, please be a part of the movement. Life is still beautiful. Okay, these are all no more temporary phase, but yes, there are the alternative option to deal with. Yeah. Okay. So be safe. Take care, everybody. I'm handing over to Vasundhara now.
Thank you. On behalf of Shine.com, I would like to thank our panelists today. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful audience and making the session so much interactive. Thank you, panelists. The recording of the webinar will be shared with all the attendees and speakers along with the feedback mail. Request you to please submit your feedback. Thanks everyone. This is Vasundhara signing off now.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Vishnu.
And
Bye, Shika.
I'm sure questions, I think Santosh Rao, I will answer this question offline as well. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Shikant. Bye-bye, Ashish.
Bye bye, Shika, Vishnu.